Okay, so today we are going to talk about Section 11.3, Utilization of Nutrients, and Section 11.4, Maintenance of Good Nutrition. So the food eaten must be broken down and absorbed into the circulatory system before the nutrients can be used by the body. So this occurs by digestion, and that's the process by which the body breaks down food into smaller parts, changes the food chemically, and moves the body through the digestive system. There's two different types of digestion. There's mechanical, where the food is broken down by the teeth and moved through the digestive tract by a process called peristalsis, a wave-like motion of the muscles. So where does mechanical digestion start? Of course, it starts in the mouth when you put the food in your mouth and you start to chew it. And then there's also chemical digestion. And that is when food is mixed with digestive juices secreted by the mouth, stomach, small intestines, and pancreas. These juices contain enzymes which break down the food even more chemically so the nutrients can be absorbed into the blood. So obviously when you eat food, it has to be broken down a lot in order for our body to use it. So the digestive juices does that job for us. Absorption is a process in which the blood and lymph capillaries pick up the digested nutrients. The nutrients are then carried by the circulatory system to every cell in the body so that we can use the nutrients. Most of the absorption does occur in the small intestine, but water, salts, and some vitamins are absorbed in the large intestine. So we do have the small intestines and we have the large intestine. So which one is longer? So actually the small intestines are about 20 feet and the large intestines are about 5 feet. So your metabolism, this occurs after absorption and nutrients are carried to the body cells. Metabolism is the process in which the nutrients are used by the cells for building tissue, providing energy, and regulating various body functions. The nutrients are combined with oxygen and energy, and heat is released. So energy is required for our voluntary work, such as swimming, house cleaning, and involuntary work, such as breathing and digestion. So, of course, energy is used constantly with our bodies because we're, always breathing. You're probably, most of the time, digesting food, and you're also moving around. So there's the basal metabolic rate, or BMR. This is the rate in which the body uses energy just for maintaining its own tissue without doing any voluntary work. So the BMR is what our body uses the energy just in order to breathe, in order to digest food, for the heart to move, or the heart to contract. The body needs energy continuously, so it stores some nutrients for future use. Stored nutrients are used to provide energy when food intake is not adequate for energy needs. So here is a picture of the digestive system. Of course, you have the salivary glands, you have the mouth, and then the food goes through the pharynx into the esophagus. You have the stomach here, and over here is the liver, which breaks down and builds up many biological molecules. It stores vitamins and iron, destroys old blood cells, destroys poisons, and the bile aids in digestion. You have the gallbladder, which also stores and concentrates bile. From the stomach, it goes into the small intestine, which is here in the purple, and then it goes into large intestine, and it comes down to the rectum, and then you have the anus down below where you expel the feces. So maintenance of good nutrition. Good nutrition is the best way of achieving and maintaining good health. You should eat a well-balanced diet in which all the required nutrients are included in the correct amounts. So it's important to eat a wide variety of foods and not eat the same thing all the time. It is, or what about a wide variety of colors for your fruits and vegetables? because they all have different benefits. So maybe my favorite vegetable is peas. I wouldn't be getting all my nutrients if the only vegetable I ate was peas. I still need maybe red peppers or orange peppers. I could eat spinach would be good. So you need a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has a food guide that classifies the foods into 5 major food groups, and they come up with choosemyplate.gov. So this is an example of a plate of how your plate should look like when you eat your meals. So a little bit over a quarter of your plate should be vegetables. A little less than a quarter should be fruits. A little more of a quarter should be grains. A little less than a quarter should be protein. And then you should also have your dairy. So when you eat, does your plate look like this? Do you have more vegetables than the protein? Again, your protein is going to be your meat, your fish, your pork, your beef, turkey, chicken. A simple way to determine portion sizes is to use your hand. Of course, you don't always have maybe a kitchen scale with you, or you don't have a cup or a half a cup in your back pocket, so you're able to measure the food. So using your hand is a good way to determine how much is a serving. So the palm of your hand is 1 portion or 3 ounces of lean meat, or 1 serving of fruit. A fifth or cupped hand is 1 cup or 1 serving of vegetables, or starchy carbs such as pasta, potatoes, or rice. So think about when you have pasta, maybe it's macaroni and cheese, or maybe if it's spaghetti. Do you have an amount that equals to your fist, or is it larger than that? Or when you have mashed potatoes, maybe at Thanksgiving, again, is it equal to your fist, or is it larger than that? Your thumb is 1 ounce of cheese, or half a serving. And then the tip of your thumb, from your knuckle to your tip, is 1 tablespoon. So that's what 1 tablespoon is going to look like. A half a thumb is 1 serving of fat, so that's how much peanut butter would be, olive oil or butter. So if you put butter on your toast, or maybe your rice, or I don't use a lot of butter. I don't know what else you would put butter on. A lot of things. That's how much you would want to use, or if you put peanut butter or have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it would just be half your thumb, which kind of really isn't too much if you think about it for most people. So here's a visual guide. You can also use the tip of your finger, and that's how much butter you should have. Here's your fist for your pasta, the palm of your hand for your meat, the tip of your thumb for your peanut butter, and then a fifth is roughly 1 cup or a double serving of ice cream. So when you have a bowl of ice cream, are you having 1 cup of ice cream, which is 2 servings, or are you having more than that? Are you having a great big bowl on which that overflows at the top? Or when you go to Culver's, or when you go to Cone Zone, are you having 1 serving of ice cream? Is it the amount of your fist, or is it more than that? All food groups are key to healthy meal plans. Variety, taste, color, aroma, texture, and general food likes and dislikes must also be considered. If food is not appealing, people will usually not eat it, even though it is healthy. Again, this is why restaurants put so much time and effort into how their plate of food looks like when they deliver it to the customers, because they want to make sure that it is appealing to them. Again, it talks about how you should have a variety of foods, and we watched the video yesterday, and if you eat the same food over and over, then you're going to release less dopamine, which is not going to, that plate of food is not going to make you feel happy as it first did in the beginning. And that's a way of your body telling you, hey, I need more than just that food. I would like a variety of foods. Also, everybody has certain things they like and certain things they don't like. Like I don't like liver and onions, so I don't eat liver and onions. I'm not really picky. I like most foods, but you also want to prepare foods that you like and that you find pleasure in, so that you get that wide variety of colors and tastes. And again, we're talking about the healthy foods, the healthy meats, vegetables, fruit, your carbs, your grains. We're not talking about those candy or cupcakes and cake. So the USDA has published a booklet titled "The Dietary Guidelines for Americans," which discusses in detail the following guidelines. If you want to click on the link, you can certainly take a look at it. It is 144 pages long, but it might be some good reading, and you will learn a lot from it. So one thing they say is to balance calories to manage your weight. So control total calorie intake to manage body weight and to increase physical activity. So that sounds pretty easy, doesn't it? You control your calories, you lose weight. Or you control your calories, increase your physical activity, you lose weight. Most people who are overweight are going to tell you it's not that easy. Or many times when people are trying to lose weight, in the very beginning, they'll do really well and maybe lose quite a bit of weight. And then they tend to plateau. And then they tend to get frustrated and they forget it and they go back to old eating habits and they gain that weight back. So it does, they make it sound easy. It's not that easy for most people who are wanting to lose weight. It is something they have to work at, and it's a struggle for them on a regular daily basis to make sure that they're watching their calories. And it's also they have to keep changing what they're doing in order to continue to lose weight. So in the beginning, they may be able to, let's say, eat 1,800 calories and walk a mile. And maybe they lose 5 pounds. But if they keep doing that and just eat the 1,800 calories and keep walking a mile, eventually that is going to plateau and they're not going to be losing weight again. So they may have to, again, decrease the calories or change what they're eating. And they may have to increase their physical activity more, maybe increase it to a mile or mile and a half or 2 miles, or maybe add some weight training into it. So they have to keep changing it, and they have to also, as they continue to lose weight, they have to change it according to their weight and their physical activity. So it may get to a point where if their weight is being, if they've lost a significant amount of weight, but they've also increased their physical activity quite a bit more, they may even need to increase what they eat a little bit more so that they have enough energy for that physical activity that they're doing. So it's a lot for people who are trying to lose weight. It makes it sound easy, and it's not for many people. Reduce certain foods and food components. So reduce salt intake to less than 2,300 milligrams and less than 1,500 milligrams for those who are 51 and older, African Americans, or those who have hypertension, diabetes, or chronic kidney disease. Consume less than 10% of calories from saturated fats. Consume less than 300 milligrams per day of dietary cholesterol. Reduce calories from solid fats and added sugars. Limit refined grains and grains that contain solid fats, added sugars, and sodium. So, does that sound easy? Or does that sound like there's a lot of things you have to keep track of? So again, if someone wants to lose weight by changing their diet and counting, looking at how much calories they're eating, how much fat they're having, it can get overwhelming because you have to watch your fat, you have to watch your sugar, you have to watch your cholesterol, you have to watch how many calories you eat, and then you have to make sure you spread it out throughout the day. So it can be overwhelming and difficult for people. Again, this is where a nutritionist or a dietitian may come into play and may be helpful for them. But also now there's lots of great apps like a Fitbit app or other apps where you can track your food that can do the work for you. And a lot of them you can just scan the barcode of the food and it will download all the nutrition about that food into it. So that can be helpful too. But again, it's something that takes time for people to do. Definitely faster than writing it down by hand every day. So the apps can be helpful for people who are trying to watch what they're eating. So increase certain foods and nutrients, increase fruits and vegetables, especially dark green and orange vegetables and beans and peas, increase fat-free or low-fat milk and milk products, and choose a variety of protein foods, especially seafood, lean meat, poultry, eggs, beans, and soy products, and unsalted nuts and seeds. So in one of the classes, somebody had mentioned that it was almost cheaper for their family. It was cheaper for their family to eat out at McDonald's than to eat a healthy, well-balanced meal because the fruits and vegetables are more expensive. And that can be certainly true for some of them. But there are definitely some fruits that are cheaper. Or if you watch the sales, you can get grapes at 99 cents a pound, or bananas only 49 cents a pound a lot of times. So it's something you do have to take into consideration. But if you think about it, okay, so you may have to pay more to eat healthy, but in the long run, are you going to save money? And you probably will, because you will have less health problems and less health issues. Or you may not get as sick as often. So therefore, you can work instead of taking time off from work. And maybe you don't get paid when you're off from work. So in the long run, it definitely pays off to pay a little bit of extra money if you're able to afford it, to eat more healthy, to eat those fruits and vegetables, um, and to eat lean meats rather than like bacon would be a high fat meat, uh, or to eat fish if you can eat fish. Um, and like beans can be very cheap, especially if you buy dried beans and make a soup. Add some tomatoes, and you can buy canned tomatoes to put in there. But definitely, vegetables can seem like and fruits can seem like they're more expensive. Maybe not as easily accessible for us in Michigan in the winter. In the summer, it's great. I love going to the farmer's market and getting my fresh fruits and vegetables there. Um, and obviously, in the winter here, we don't have that option in Michigan. Uh, so definitely in the long run, you do save money by eating more healthy because you will be more healthy in the long run with less doctor's visits, not getting sick as often. Also, use oil to replace the solid fats. So build healthy eating patterns. Eat foods that meet nutrient needs and appropriate calorie levels. Follow all safety recommendations when preparing and eating food so that you don't get sick from eating meat that has not been cooked properly, or make sure you wash your hands and clean the countertops and sinks after handling raw meat. So eat foods that meet nutrient needs and appropriate calorie levels. So let's say I decide to have ice cream. So ice cream does have milk in it, so that's good. I'll be getting calories. But it also has a lot of the calories from the sugar, which has no health benefit for me. Or let's say, again, I'm going to have pop. That's not diet. Or like a fruit juice. So a lot of times those calories, especially pop, they're called empty calories because there's no nutrition in them. So you want to be careful of that. And those empty calories are what can cause you to gain weight pretty quickly. So you do want to make sure you're getting your calories from foods that provide you good nutrition. Reading food labels. Check the label to determine the serving size and the number of servings in the container. So this is important because let's say I get a bag of chips, and you think it's an individual bag of chips. It's a smaller bag, so you think, hey, it must be individual, one serving size, and you eat the whole bag of chips, and then you look and, oh, there was 2 servings in there. It's actually double the calories that was in there. So I remember one day I was working in home care, and I was craving something crunchy. But that's usually my craving is something crunchy. And of course, I've heard people say, go eat carrots or celery. That doesn't really help my cravings. Maybe it helps others, but it doesn't help me. So I was traveling because I was working, and I went to a gas station, and I wanted a small bag of chips, and I was looking for baked chips so they'd be healthier. And I wanted one serving. That's it, because I knew if I opened the bag, I would eat the whole bag. All of their smaller bags were all 2 servings. They didn't sell any of the really small ones that were just 1 serving. And I think that day I did have self control, and I left and I didn't buy anything. So you definitely need to check their serving size. Evaluate the number of calories per serving to determine whether the food is a low or high calorie. Also determining the servings. So if you have a big bag of chips and you want to have some chips, should you just eat out of the bag? Because you're probably not going to eat 1 serving, right? If you eat out of the bag, it's going to be more than 1 serving. Or if you have, I don't know what else you eat out of the bag. Crackers, you just keep eating them out of the bag. Again, you're probably going to have more than 1 serving. So again, if you're watching your calories or watching what you're eating, you should count out the number of chips that you can have, or weigh them, or count out the number of crackers you can have, and then take those and put the bag away. Evaluate the number of calories per serving to determine whether the food is a low or high calorie food. So is it worth eating? Calculate the amount of fat and try to keep your total fat intake between 20 and 35% of your total calorie intake. So look at the daily value percentage for each nutrient listed to determine whether the food is nutritious and worth eating. So this is the empty calories I mentioned. Avoid empty calories or high calorie foods with no vitamins, minerals, carbs, and or proteins. So pop would be one. What are some other empty calories? I can't think of anything right offhand. Some of your candies, chocolates, Twizzlers, gummy worms, gummy bears. So those types of the ones are going to be, they're not going to provide you with many vitamins or minerals or carbs, and they're just going to be what they consider to be empty calories. So here is an example of what a nutrition label looks like, and this is a little bit blurry. I have some more. So you're going to start at the top. It says the serving size is 1 cup, and there's 2 servings in here. And it has, I don't know, 200 some calories for this one. So if you're going to eat the whole, so this is for macaroni and cheese. So if you're going to eat the whole box of macaroni and cheese, which some people do, you have to make sure you double those calories. You want to limit these nutrients, which is fat, and then it's further broken down into saturated fats and trans fat, your cholesterol, and your sodium. You want to make sure you get enough of these nutrients in you. So the one is fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. So let's go to some other ones. Okay, so here's 2 different food labels for Fiber One cereal and then Ruffles. So you get 10 chips, not very many. Most people probably eat more than 10 chips for 120 calories. For Fiber One cereal, the calories are about the same. In fact, Fiber One has more calories, but you get a whole cup. So essentially, you get to eat more with the Fiber One cereal. And then you have your fat. So the Ruffles have 3 grams of fat. Your Fiber One cereal only has 1.5, so it's less. Sodium, 200 for the chips and 280 for Fiber One, which to me is surprising. Carbs, you have 42 carbs in the cereal and 21 carbs in the chips. Only 2 grams of protein compared to 5 grams of protein for the cereal. Sugars, you have 6 sugars in the Fiber One cereal, only 2, because chips aren't really sweet, are they? And then you have your vitamins down below. So as you can see, vitamin A, you get 0 vitamin A. You get 4% calcium, thiamine 4%, vitamin C is 6%, no iron. So vitamin A, you don't get any. And I'm just looking at, so cereal has two different columns. One is just for the cereal, and then the other is with half a cup of skim milk. So I'm just looking at just the cereal. 10% calcium, 25% iron, so it's got a good amount of iron in it. So yogurt, many people think, oh, yogurt's good and healthy. I should have some yogurt, and this says right here that it's fat-free, low-fat yogurt. It has vitamins A and D, which are both good. And many times people see low-fat and they think, oh, it's healthy, I should eat that. So calories is 170, so not too bad in the calories. 1.5 grams of fat, again, not too bad. Sugars, though, is 26 grams of sugar. 26 grams of sugar. So is that quite a bit? And then it also has 5 grams of protein. So it's got some protein in it for you, but not very much. 15% of your vitamin A that you need. 20% of your vitamin D that you need in a day. Calcium is 20%, so that's good. So Cheetos, regular Cheetos versus baked Cheetos. So the calories are about the same. They're 150 and 140. But look at the serving size here. The serving size, you get 21 pieces for the regular Cheetos, and you get 34 pieces of the baked Cheetos. So you definitely get more of the baked Cheetos. Fat is 10 compared to 5 for the baked. Sodium is pretty close to the same, 250 versus 220. Carbs are only 13 for the regular Cheetos and 20 for the baked. And protein is the same. No vitamin D. You have 10% calcium. And okay, so here are sweet potato chips when they're baked. So again, sweet potatoes, many people think they're healthier than regular potatoes. And they are very healthy sweet potatoes. So these are baked sweet potato chips. So in the bag is 2 servings. Again, if someone opens a bag, the serving size is 1 ounce. So they open up a 2-ounce bag. More than likely, they're going to eat the whole bag. So if they eat the whole bag, they have 260 calories. Sodium is 410, so that's higher than what it was even for the Cheetos. Carbs are 18, sugars are 5, so not much. Protein is 1 gram. You get 4% of your calcium, 10% of your iron, 75% of your vitamin A. So that's quite a bit. And 10% of your vitamin C. So did the others have vitamin A? Nope, no vitamin A, no vitamin A. And vitamin C, no vitamin C. So definitely the sweet potatoes, you get more vitamins with them. Also look at the ingredients here. You have organic sweet potatoes, organic virgin coconut oil, sea salt, organic fair trade, cinnamon powder. So not very many ingredients. Let's look back at the Cheetos and look at all the ingredients. Here, quite a bit more ingredients. Some a lot harder to pronounce and understand. So what are all those other weird ingredients in there? Are they good for you, or are they healthy for you? Or is it better to eat something with a lot less ingredients? So your food habits affect your nutrition. Some habits are based on culture or religious beliefs. And you can look at your figure on 11.5 to see what those are. And that's on page 307 in your book. So I think that's it for today. Again, if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. And thank you for watching.